Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Sunday Story Time with JAP. We continue with part two of last week's folk tale. A friend of mine asked why I break a story into two parts. My intention is not just simply to tell a story, but to enrich vocabulary and to grab a bit of attention for listening to English. And therefore, I broke this story. I would ensure that hereafter I choose such stories that can be finished off within 10 minutes. That's my assurance. Yeah, we were talking about Prince Sabar, who was suffering from the venomous glass pieces that had got into his flesh. And how our little princess was in search of him, wanted to know where he was. And when she came by the side of a very vast river, vast means very big, she saw two songbirds who were talking like human beings. And she was listening to them. And one bird told the other, "Did you hear what has happened to Prince Sabar? He's been suffering from the venom that has got into his flesh through glass pieces. And do you know that our excreta will definitely help the man recover?" The excrement of the songbirds had a miraculous medicinal power. And that's what the first bird said. If only this could be applied twice, Prince Sabar would recover. But then now, who would take and go? We are not supposed to do it. Somebody has to. And the second bird said, even if somebody collects our excreta, or if somebody collects our excrement, how will they cross this broad river, which is quite deep? Then the first bird said, from out of this bark of this tree, if the person makes a boot and walks, he can wade through the water and go to the other side. And the birds left after some time. Our princess was a bit too excited because she has found a solution, though not sure whether it would work out. And after the birds left, she collected the excrement and took out the bark from the tree, made a boot out of them, wore them, and went near the river. And lo, the water gave way for the princess to cross. And she had, in advance, she had dressed herself like a doctor. Doctor, not in the modern sense, the old-time doctor. Like that, she had dressed herself and she went into that country of Prince Sabar. Everybody in the country, they were all very sad and they were worried about the condition of Prince Sabar, who was suffering even now. Pretending herself to be a doctor, she went to the palace and said she could treat. And she was disguised as a man. And the king and the queen, or rather her in-laws, they said they would give anything that she wants if she can cure the prince. She went into the room where he was really suffering. He was writhing in pain. She applied the excrement of the birds over his body. Over the next few minutes, the small brittle glass pieces were falling off. And the second time she applied once again and covered him with a cloth. Now all the venom was sucked out. And the prince was quite normal. She applied a third time. And he was just as normal as he used to be. After all the splinters of glass were taken and after all the venom had gone, naturally the prince was very happy. Prince Sabar was very happy and his parents were very happy. The parents offered the doctor, the Vaid, lots of gold, half of the country, which the doctor refused and said he wanted only three mementos. The three things that he asked were a red handkerchief that he always had, a dagger that was always with him, and the ring that he was wearing. Only these three mementos she said she wanted to keep with him. And the Prince Saba, gave it immediately to her. And the doctor took all the three and waded back through the waters and came back to the house, the palace that Prince Sabar had built for her. She removed her disguise, put on an attire of the real princess, and waved the fan to call Prince Sabar. Prince Sabar came, and the princess pretended as if she knew nothing and asked him what happened. And he narrated the entire story and said he was very, very thankful to the doctor who had removed the venomous splinters from his body. And he asked how she spent her life. And she said she wandered around and earned three precious things. And she placed before him the handkerchief, the dagger, and of course the ring. And seeing the three, the prince was wonderstruck. He asked how she got it. And then she narrated the entire story of her journey, the odyssey that she had undertaken to save him and to get him back to life. And he was very happy. Prince Sabar was very happy, stayed back with her, and they lived happily thereafter, not returning to her kingdom, not to his kingdom. So that's it, part 2 of Prince Sabar, a tale for you from JAP. And we'll meet next week with a short folk tale, or next week onwards, only with short folk tales with the JAP. And that's the end of today's episode of Sunday Story Time with the JAP. We'll meet next week. Until then, goodbye.